Are you all comfy? You got some blankets? You got some water? You got your snacks? You're good? Good. Okay. Okay. Just checking. Hi, friends! My name is Miranda. Welcome back to my universe. And today I will be reviewing Stephanie Garber's newest novel called Alchemy of Secrets. This is a spoiler free review. I just have so much to talk about here. Wow. This novel came out in October, and I actually finished it the week that it came out, but it has taken me quite some time to sort through my thoughts because they are a mess. A zoo. Running around wild in my head, if you will. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this novel, and so I am going to try my best to articulate those feelings to you today. Buckle on up. Don't worry about spoilers. I got you covered. Won't be spoiling anything. Let's get on going. I'm gonna set her up right up here. Perfect! This is a standalone adult fantasy. At least that is how it is advertised. More on that later, though. It's the first in a series, but as of right now, it's by itself. The main premise of this book is that we follow around our main character, Holland, who is a university student. Now, there is a folklore class within this university that is hardly ever talked about, and it's a very kind of mystical, a little bit bizarre kind of class that doesn't operate like a normal university class would. Holland is obsessed with this class. Well, there is one character in particular that Holland learns about in this class, and he is called the Watchman. And within the first few chapters of this novel, she is on a date with this guy and she wants to find the Watchman. So they kind of go on this little hunt and they end up in the right place and they find the Watchman. And the interesting thing about the Watchman, how many times can I say that in a video? I know. His power is that he can tell you when you're going to die. Holland and her mans end up filling out the paper for the Watchman. Sorry. They fill out his paper, send it off, right? They're going about their day and they find out when they're going to die. From there on out, Holland is trying to figure out how she can change her future. And this takes her on an incredible journey that really is immersive and atmospheric, but it just falls short in a lot of areas. So let's talk about it. I wanted to begin this review just by saying that I so badly wanted this book to be 5 stars. I wanted to enjoy it with every single fiber in my being. I was going into this truly believing that it could be my favorite book of the year. So it's painful is what I'm getting at. If you are a diehard fan of this novel, yes, I understand, I get it. I envy you. I wish I enjoyed this novel. It is not, in my opinion, an adult novel. I think this reads as a young adult novel. And so I just think it's interesting because all of the advertisement, all of the talk around this book before it came out was that it was going to be an adult fantasy novel. Though I do think there are a few themes, maybe, a few elements, maybe, that are more mature. It still reads like it's young adult. And that wasn't a huge deal breaker for me because young adult fantasy is my favorite genre. So I enjoyed it in that aspect. I just think it rubbed me the wrong way that it was advertised differently. Another thing, and this honestly is probably my biggest gripe with this novel, is the misuse of the characters. There are characters that are introduced and that we meet who were amazing at the beginning, and then as the story progressed, Stephanie Garber just mishandled them. They were not utilized to their full potential. Or some characters are talked about, but we never even meet. There are characters that play a pivotal role in why things happen throughout the novel, and we never meet them. Literally, front cover to back cover, never actually meet them face to face. And that just is upsetting. If a character has such a huge impact on your storyline, why are we not meeting them? We don't know if what was said about them is true. We don't know what kind of person they are. It's a very tell and not show type of writing where we are told how to feel about a character. I would love if we just paused the dialogue about this character and we actually met them. Another thing that I really didn't like that still has to do with characters, excuse me, is one of our main characters that we meet, is introduced. He is truly my favorite. And honestly, I think the reason why I gave this book such a low rating is because he was mishandled. Stephanie Garber just ditches him for a whole third of the novel and maybe even more. And it's really unfortunate when we are introduced with characters that are supposed to have a lot of depth, a lot of complexity, or they are painted as though they are complex and, oh, I'm morally gray, or I've been through some things, you shouldn't trust me. And then they just drop off. And we don't get to learn about why they're complex or why we shouldn't trust them. So, yeah. And now that I've mentioned you shouldn't trust me, I'm going to go on another tangent with that. There are so many times that Holland is told specifically not to trust characters. And I just want you to guess what she ends up doing. Yeah, she ends up trusting them. There are times where characters have proven to her that she shouldn't trust them, and she still does. She still does. There are characters she full on kisses, okay? And I'm like, girl, what? I don't want to know what's going on in your head, Holland, because I already know that it's nothing. You're making all of these super poor choices and the outcomes that end up happening, like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And on top of the predictability, there were so many things that happen in this novel that were pointless. They didn't add to the story, they didn't add to characters. They just felt like fluff. They felt like Stephanie Garber was just trying to add more to her story because it already is so short. This is such a short story. I mean, look at it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a long story. And it still could have been cut down by the amount of things that were added in here that were unnecessary. There is also something huge at the end that I can't even talk about. Long story short, I don't understand. There is something huge that we find out that is not explained. And when it tries to explain it, it just falls so short, and I'm still left with so many questions. I'm okay if I have questions because this is the first book in a series. I actually expect to have questions by the end of the novel. My issue is there are a lot of unexplained things. And I would understand if Stephanie Garber was purposefully withholding information from us to be mysterious or add to the atmosphere. But all it ended up doing was make me more confused. This novel was trying to have romance, and we even have several. If we want to be specific, we have 3 questionable men, and the romance was still boring. The characters didn't have any chemistry with each other, and the one character that did have chemistry with the main character ends up being thrown away. Excuse me. I just felt like a lot of things were discarded whenever they were irrelevant or unneeded, when in reality, I feel like a really good fantasy novel would introduce things and keep that intertwined as we navigate the story and as our main character discovers everything she discovers. So, yeah, let's move on to the good things about this novel. She knows how to write atmosphere. She knows how to immerse you and suck you in. This magic system, although it is not explained and a little bit confusing, it's so intriguing to me. I was very intrigued. The first half of this novel, I thought it was going to be book of the year. I thought I was going to love it. I was very excited. I truly was sucked into the folklore class. That was amazing within itself. I wish I learned more about the magic system in this story. What was presented to the audience, to a certain point at least, was really cool, and I want to learn more. So I will be picking up the second novel because I do want answers to my questions, and I'm so hoping and praying that Stephanie Garber delivers those questions. I also did enjoy the story just overall, right? If we were to strip away everything else, at the very center of this story, the backbone of this novel, I did like it. But You can only love a backbone so much until you have to acknowledge the rest of the human. You know what I mean? I did like this story and I want more. It definitely was enough to hook me, and it was enough to keep me engaged throughout the entire novel. Even with all the inconsistencies with the pacing, I still felt engaged. I ended up overall giving this novel 3 out of 5 stars. I know I ranted more, like I gave it 1 or 2 stars, but I truly did really like the first half of this novel. It carried the rating for me. It was fantastic, and I would genuinely recommend it for fantasy lovers, just so you can experience that first half and hopefully have a better experience than I did with the rest of this novel. But yeah, there is my rant review of Alchemy of Secrets. I love Stephanie Garber and the worlds she creates. This just fell flat for me, and it wasn't what I was looking for or expecting. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video and supporting me. Please comment down below if you have read this novel, or if you haven't read it, what you've heard about it. I would love to talk about this further with you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, a big thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed it and I should make more content like this. Please comment down below if you have any other thoughts and feelings. Subscribe if you have not already. And as always, I love you all so, so much. Please be safe, make good choices, and I definitely will see you next time. Bye!